Hey everyone, and welcome to the Miyazaki Man Podcast. We have a very special guest with me here today, the ever lovely and stunning Clari from Clari's collection. She's also a weeb from London. Coincidence how we met. I was after this Kurumi figure from Karakawa, and I went on My Figure Collection to look at the reviews and the thumbnail, and she very kindly gave me some pieces of advice, and I knew I had to have her on the channel. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the lovely Clari. In today's episodes, we go through what it's like being a lad and lass growing up in the UK, funding our hobby, all the risks of bootlegs, customs, shipping, moving to Japan, loving figures and anime and more. Hey everyone, welcome to the Miyazaki Man Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined here by my friend Clari on the YouTube. How's it going?
Yeah, hi, I'm good. How are you doing, Sai?
Yeah, very good, thank you, very good. And my homegirl, you're in London, in the UK, representing the UK.
Yeah, it's nice to speak to a fellow person who kind of enjoys Japanese culture from the UK. I feel like we're few and far between, but we are there, so
I know,
yeah.
I know, and I mean, you know, logistically and time permitting, it would have been a short trip from Cambridge to London to go to like conventions or to hang out and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it'll happen someday. Japan, UK.
You've gone to the source material though. Now you can kind of do figure collecting and actually enjoy Japanese culture as part of your daily life. I'm very jealous.
But it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Can you imagine the temptations everywhere? And it's just a hand away, a little walk away. And how would you survive if you were in Japan on a day-to-day basis, going to the anime stores and figure stores?
Oh, I don't think I would. I went to I went to Hyper Japan a couple of weeks ago, which was like a big Japanese con event, and you just spend so much money because you're like, oh, this is nice, and because it's just there, you're like, oh, I'll just buy this and this. But then obviously, like over time, you're like, oh, actually, I've spent quite a lot. At least I guess when you buy stuff online, it does give you a chance to kind of step back, kind of budget for it, cancel stuff if you spent too much. So yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I can imagine.
Tempting.
Yeah, I know, and that's the kind of thing, right? So it was very coincidental how we met. So I found this Kurumi figure with this black kimono that I thought looked really beautiful because I had the Saber Ultra one already. So I looked on My Figure Collection, and admittedly I'm quite a newbie on that site. And then I saw your picture in the stand with the 4 kimono figures. I put a throwaway comment on there. I was like, wow, I want to pair these two together. I'm really considering it. She was on sale on Surugaya. And then you kindly replied and linked me to your channel. And for everyone, a lovely figure showcasing unboxing channel, Clari's channel in the link below. And yeah, you commented, you told me about the figures and your ideas and recommendations of them. We kind of hooked up from there. We had a little chat around them, and you told me about your opinions of them. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah, the question is, what was your final decision on that? Were you have you decided that you want to get her, or are you like, oh, I'm not sure now?
So yeah, the sale period is over now, and I've kind of gone with my initial thoughts, which were, if you're not 100% sure on it, then you can't be that into it, and your kind of comments kind of led me away from her, and I had my eyes on the prize. There were a few we refer to them as grails, but some things that we aspire to get, some more expensive ones. And I have actually got a grail down here, which I will unveil later on our journey.
First time exciting.
Yeah, indeed. And but what I want to know from you as well, when did you start collecting anime figures and weeb goods?
Oh gosh, that's a really hard question. I kind of started very gradually. And then, but it really took off, I think, like the end of last summer. That was when I really got into figure collecting. And basically, I got myself the Hatsune Miku Myethos figure, the Chinese dress version figure. And beautiful. I just saw her on Reddit, and I completely fell in love with her. I was just like, oh, she's beautiful. So I ended up buying her on Amazon Japan, and after that I was just hooked. But I did have I had some prize figures before then. I bought my partner figures for like birthday presents and stuff.
Sure.
But I'd never like really got into it. But it's something about that figure. I just it
It sets
really
something
looks
off.
so
The wheels in
elegant.
motion.
Yeah. And then I was like, I think I just I saw the kind of really the real artistry in the sculpting of figures,
Hmm.
which I think I'd seen a lot of figures before, but it was the first one that really took me aback as almost being like a sculpture. And yeah,
The
that was
appreciation,
kind
the
of
beauty
the
of it
hook.
once you've got it in your hand, in your household. And you mentioned prize figures as well. So you started kind of
Yeah.
safe for work, beautiful figures, beautiful colored figures.
Mm.
You've got prize figures. But surely it evolved from there, right? Once you're in the hole, there's only one direction you're
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I didn't stick around in price figures for too long. Like I had a couple which one I'd been bought by my partner, so that was technically my first ever figure. And it was like I think it's a Banpresto figure of Alice Suberg from SAO because like
Okay.
I just really love her character.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I have another one of Tanjiro, but I ordered him so long ago. I only got him like a month ago because I bought him off like the Crunchyroll website, and because I live in the UK, it just took ages to send and also
Yeah.
arrive. So yeah, and but then I think because I got the Hatsune Miku Myethos figure, I then just went straight. I went straight in the deep end and went into scales, which I probably should have stuck around in the price figure space a bit longer, but I don't know. Scales are just really nice. I think once you get a scale, you're like, oh yeah, these are really good.
What can you say, right? Yep. As soon as you upgrade to the next tier, it's hard to go back to where you were before, and you're almost like, what if I didn't buy those 4 or 5 figures? I could have afforded this really nice scale. Or I'm running out of
Yeah.
space now. Oh, do I
Yeah.
give those up? Sentimental value, they were my first ones, but that scale looks very nice.
Yeah. That's like the biggest challenge, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm definitely like a massive advocate for like selling on figures and like
Hmm.
kind of replace it because like storage is just the issue for every figure
Hmm.
collector. And so it's nice if you can like yeah, if you need to make space to then buy new stuff for your new pre-orders and stuff like that. I think it's one of the nice things about figure collecting. There's like a really good secondhand market, and in
Yes.
that way I kind of like it that this stuff doesn't just go in the bin. It's like it does go to a second home and get loved by someone else. So yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, really, because it's a kind of cyclical thing. So you enjoy it, you display it, you appreciate it as part of your collection. But when the time comes and when, it falls out of favor slightly, someone else will be delighted because for them, it'll be a new figure, right? It'll be new to their collection, new to their home. You've obviously taken good care of it. You send it to them. And, even the comments go a long way. Like, I hope you really enjoy this figure, or this figure's really cute. Please look after her well. And the community that way is really nice and kind. And that's how, like, my figure collection and Reddit and all these things really kind of boom and thrive, because I find the people in this community are really easygoing, really nice, willing to share their collections, their experiences. It's kind of what we're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think like also recently I've been really getting into on like my figure. I think when you messaged me, I was reading an article at the time, so it was just like really good timing that we kind of had a bit of back and
Yeah.
forth conversation. But there's some amazing articles on MFC where people have written like diaries or how-to guides or like just given like reviews on figures as well, which I think it's so nice that and like on MFC, those kind of articles end up getting starred if they get a certain amount of views, and so then they stick around for a while. And I think there's something really nice about that you do have this greater community that people engage in different forms of like social media, like the Reddit community as well is quite active. But yeah, my figure collection is like I think it's really good that they have it as a database. My only
Yeah.
issue with it is I wish they had Chinese figures on there. That's
Oh
like my one
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Yeah, there's some legalities around the Chinese figures there, and also apparently there's been some complaints around server issues as well. So sometimes it's really slow to load, or doesn't load, or whatnot. But
Yeah.
I'm relatively new to my figure collection, and when you messaged me back, I was actually struggling to find where the inbox was. I've now discovered it's in
Yeah.
Manager, and that's how you do
Yeah.
you do all the communication. Oh, where's my inbox? Where's my notifications? There's nothing there. Where's Clari's
Yeah.
message?
Yeah, that's I guess like the one downside with MFC is that it can be a little difficult to navigate. But once you figure it out, it's very easy to use. But yeah, because like you either get that thing where you send like private messengers in
Hmm.
Manager, or you post on people's like on their page. but then
Oh, the
it
kind of
becomes this
warping,
like
yeah,
weird
yeah, in the profile.
disjointed conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yeah, I hear you, and that's the kind of thing, right? So obviously, there's the outside world, society, and looking at this really geeky, weeby hobby. But when you're inside that kind of bubble, like my figure collection, everyone's so passionate and so happy and enthusiastic, and they really want to like ask in-depth questions. Like, I'm really on the edge of buying this figure. What do you guys reckon? Or is this a fair price for this figure? And it's really kind of collaborative and interactive, right? And no one judges you because everyone's on that site because they love figurines and anime and Japan goods.
yeah. No, I think it's really good. Yeah, and I literally just got. I've started an Instagram, which
Oh yeah.
you'll have to bear with me because I'm still really terrible at Instagram. It's like my first ever Instagram account.
No worries.
But I'm kind of doing it as like a push to make my photographing of my figures a bit better because
Sure.
my photography skills aren't great. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's set a new challenge. But I'm amazed some of the people on Instagram with pictures of figures are just absolutely beautiful. And the same
Mm.
like on MFC, the kind of the quality in some of the photographs where people make the whole scenes for the figures as
Oh
well.
yeah,
You can see
yeah.
how much people care about their collection, which I think is really lovely.
That's right. It's kind of like a passion project, isn't it? So they set the diorama, they do the interactive backgrounds, they care about the lighting, how the light reflects on the figure, and they're keen to highlight certain parts. Like in the first podcast, I met this guy called Ken on Reddit. Just randomly, I saw one of his Kotobukiya figure collections, and he was really into showing me all the details on all of these Marvel and DC figures, like the creases in the clothing and the wrist. And I love that, how you get so kind of connected with your collection. And obviously, you paid for it. You should treasure it. You should value it. It's not cheap. So
Yeah.
yeah. So going on your kind of figure journey then. So we started with the kind of safer works, smaller ones, but surely there must have been some bunnies added along the way and some lewder, more naughty, more naughty
Yeah.
goods.
So I only have one bunny at the moment, but I feel like she was like my ultimate grail, and that's Caroline
Yeah.
Yuri Bunny Binding
Oh
Bunny,
yes, a very
Bunny
naughty
Maker
bunny.
Bunny.
It started off
Yeah.
very
Oh,
naughty then.
she's just beautiful. So yeah, she's for those who don't know about her, she's like from an art illustration from Saki Mama, I think is how you call his name. And he's done like a series of kind of bunny girl. I think he's actually got a new art book coming out of like bunny
Okay.
girls. They're just his illustrations are beautiful, and he's got like the Neo Blue bunny, which I have pre-ordered, coming out as
Oh
well.
yeah, that one. Yes, it's quite pricey though. So there's quite a
Yeah.
commitment there.
But then you look at like the aftermarket. If you compare her, she is quite pricey. But then there are other bunnies on the market at the moment that I just go like the bunny. Like in general, figures have gone up so much in price.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then that aftermarket as well, like just completely blows my mind. I've actually started like occasionally there'll be figures that I see, especially native. I'm amazed how much they go up in price after the aftermarket. It's just crazy. Because I really like Bastet and Anubis by Native Binding. That
Oh yep.
aftermarket has just gone nuts. So unfortunately, as much as I would love to own them, I think it's just kind of gone out of my budget really. So yeah, but there are definitely, I've actually got like on my MFC, I've got a not safe for work list where I save all of my like Luda figures that I like onto that page. So yeah, because I started off wanting
Clary's
to
not
have,
safe for work list. The
yeah,
lose.
all my deep dark secrets, yeah, because I started off wanting like a I wanted like a fully safer work collection at the beginning, but then
Yeah.
you just gradually slip. And but I also kind of like that my opinion on like not safe for work and Luda figures has changed, because I think I was probably a bit prim and proper before on my opinions. And also I think like especially with anything, don't judge before you try it. Like with getting Caroline Yuri, she was like my first quarter scale figure, and I kind of understood why people liked Bunny a lot better by buying that figure and having that experience. Whereas
Sure.
before I had a bunny, I didn't really get it. I was like, oh, they're just girls dressed as bunnies. But when they actually arrive, you see, similar how you talk about all the creases, all the details, like the fishnets, the textures. and
Yeah.
like she has so many little details on her, and I think for me
All
that's like
pops,
with the
the colours
bunny.
really go well together. Yeah, she's a stunner, isn't she? Yeah, I know what you mean. The happiness. I can tell all by your smile that you're very, very into. That's probably your favourite figure. Would that be correct to say? Can you hear me, Clary? We've lost Clary. This is probably a good time to say that anyone is welcome on the Miyazaki Man podcast. Fans of anime, manga, Japan, goody, succeeding in life so you can afford all of this weeb stuff. If you have something to say, let your boy Sai know, and I'm definitely looking forward to get you on. Yeah, so you've actually been to Japan before, right?
Yes, I have. I went on holiday there when I was in my mid 20s, like just after finishing uni. It was kind of like my treat holiday for passing my degree and stuff. And
Very nice.
yeah, but I went with a friend at the time, and we went in like peak summer because that was like the
Oh
only
wow.
flights we could get that were cheap, basically. And so, yeah, it was very warm, but it was kind of amazing though, like because I'd always wanted to go to Japan.
Mhm.
Like I'd always been obsessed with Japanese culture because my dad used to do lots of work in Japan, and
Okay.
he'd always bring me back like kind of souvenirs from his trip.
Oh, brilliant.
And so that kind of fed into like a love of anime, which obviously then fed into figure
Mm.
collecting. But I'd always wanted to go to Japan, and I remember going and kind of walking into a park and just hearing the cicadas,
Oh
like the
yeah, the cry of the
in the
cicadas.
park, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly like anime. And I didn't realize how good anime was at kind of depicting the change of seasons.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, but it's such a beautiful country, and I was only there for 10 days,
Okay.
so I'd love to go for a bit longer
Of course. Of course.
and see a bit more because there's so much to see.
Yeah, so much to see, to do, to eat. I'm assuming you went to Tokyo,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I was in Tokyo, and then we went to Fuji National
Okay.
Park for I think a day or two. To stay in a ryokan, and then I went to Kyoto and Nara. I went for one day to Nara,
Sure.
and then back to Kyoto, back to Tokyo. So yeah, it was a really fun trip. But yeah, and the other thing I was amazed by was like how amazing the rails are in
Yeah.
Japan. Like you can travel so far
Hmm.
in such a short time compared to the UK.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the trains just don't work as well.
It's how the world was meant to be, really, isn't it? Because, like, the
Yeah,
transportation, you're talking about a 5 second differential, and more than likely it's going to come earlier and then leave at the time that it's scheduled on. Where in the UK, if it comes within 20 minutes
yeah,
of its due time, you're lucky. And if it's not in service or just
yeah,
whistles by, and it's expensive in the UK as well to get from place to place. It's
yeah.
yeah, pros and cons. I'm definitely going to do a video on that. The pros of living in the UK compared to the pros of living in Japan. It'll be a fun one for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. What are some of the is there anything you miss about the UK? I'm curious to hear that.
Yeah, so funny you mentioned that. So I was thinking about this the other day. Like, there are a few perks of the Japan lifestyle, and one of them, right? I mean, it might be different in Tokyo, but it's the convenience of like food, the variety of food that they can deliver to your house, like Just Eat and
Yeah.
Deliveroo and Uber Eats or whatever. You know, you have that midnight kebab. When
Yeah.
I'm looking at my figures on the Japan time zone from the UK, when it goes on sale,
Mm.
I'll just get like a local kebab or pizza, or or the junk and dirty food that constitutes the dad bod.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. And another one is obviously, Japan people are really kind of respectful. They respect your distance. They're, quite shy. But you know how it's like in the UK, right? When you meet a friend, big hugs or touching or high fives or, that kind of thing, the kind of closeness, the kind of intimacy. That's always nice. And, seeing your friends and chilling. But one thing compared to Japan, the UK really lacks activities, I find. So you go to a
Yeah.
bar, go out for coffee, maybe cinema, walk, town,
Mm.
shopping. And that's about it, really. I can't think off the top of my head what other things I really did
Yeah.
apart from doing that.
Yeah.
So in Japan, you just anywhere you go, and even more rural, like in Miyazaki, you've got activities left, right, and center. Big karaoke
That's
booths,
good.
big entertainment centers, round one sports chair, which is like a 5-story complex of indoor sports activities, darts, pool, swimming pool, anything. It's got everything in it, and like the parks, the
Yeah.
shopping, even food. Right, the food is so cheap and so cheerful. I stuffed my face 3 or 4 meals a day and lost like over a stone. So yeah,
Yeah.
life is good.
That's great. But yeah. Yeah, I kind of I wish the UK did have a bit more fun activities and stuff. And I do think it's like, and also the other thing that I guess is a challenge here, I still find that like I wish they kind of accepted a bit more the like kind of like anime and kind of weeb culture in the UK.
Yeah,
There still seems to be this very like conservative attitude to stuff that's like, although like the UK can be really accepting and it's very international, like there's lots of people from all over the place living in, especially in London, it's very international. But then there's this weird kind of hang up on like certain things like anime that I'm kind of surprised by, given how kind of positive as a country it is to other things like immigration. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you are right. There's still a stigma, and some people, the leopard will never change its spot. Some people will always frown and look down on very kind of geeky, kind of weeby culture as well. Clari, you here? Chance for you to grab a cheeky cuppa or coffee or latte. Quick shout out to all our patrons supporting our channel: Sophia P, Insufficient Yogurt, Master Yao, James Y, Sometimes Superman, Coben, A Eldridge, Ash W, Alex M, Dom P and T. The next could be you. Every single patron is supporting this channel, and also as a thank you, I'm going to give every single patron, regardless of tier, a prize from Japan, a goodie from Japan coming to you soon. I'll put the full list on the website to show you who's got what in the past. Thank you for supporting the channel. Back to the show. So I definitely recommend you head down to Kyushu, because not only is it a world away from Tokyo, I mean, it's like a tropical paradise. The people are lovely, go at their own pace. The food is really good, really fashionable. There's loads of beaches and nature as well. But also, it's kind of a weeb's paradise. It's a secret treasure trove, because a lot of secondhand goods end down in Kyushu, and it's not as competitive. Like, in Tokyo, people will hang out at Akihabara or Nakano Broadway, for the best deals, to just kind of scrimp on the best deals. Whereas in Kyushu, you might find some real like nice treasures just sitting there waiting for you to pick up.
Cool. Yeah. The other place I really want to go is, I really would love to go skiing in Japan, because it's got like some of the best skiing in the world, and my family love to ski. So yeah, but it's just obviously quite difficult to get to Japan, and it's also meant to be incredibly cold, which I don't normally ski in such cold climate, so I don't know how that would be, but it looks amazing. Like the powder skiing there looks just so good.
Absolutely, it'll be an adventure. Like, actually, my missus, she's a Japanese teacher. We run a business called Cambridge Japanese, and one of her students is actually a ski instructor in Hokkaido. So he says it's absolutely world class. He's skied the world, and he says Hokkaido is probably number one, the best place he's ever been to. So your family would love it there, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Oh, stop it! You're making me jealous now. I'm going to go against Japan.
It's all good. You'll eventually come here. I mean, it's a weeb's paradise. It's on a bucket list. Whenever you got time permits, whenever the borders open, why not?
Yeah, because like that's the other issue at the moment. I think they've because the border's being shut. You have to book to go on like holiday packages. Which, like, when I last went to Japan, we just wandered around and kind of figured it out and wung it a bit. But I can imagine it was a really good experience to do as like a tour group though. Because probably the tour guides and like, I don't know, like all the people that I met in Japan were really incredibly friendly.
Of course.
So I can imagine you get like a kind of a more locals knowledge that way, which would be quite cool.
Indeed. You'll have a hell of a time, because the people are super, super friendly. I mean, even my experiences there, as soon as they see me, might be the Asian face or whatnot, they think I'm Japanese. As soon as I open my mouth, they know something's wrong here. He talks like a baby, or he can't communicate. His grammar's terrible. So they translate the whole menu for you. Like, it might all be in kanji because you're a bit further away from Central in Miyazaki. They stood there with an iPad translating everything on the menu. It's the same as the hair salon. They're telling me all the different styles and really made the effort to communicate with you. And even like on one trip to the airport in the taxi, the guy had his meal deal, and he gave me the coffee from his meal deal and said, "You must be thirsty. It's a hot day. Drink it." Like, people are just over the top nice in Japan. It's a different experience, really. I mean, you do get nice people in the UK as well, but it's kind of different, I'm sure you've experienced as well, right, when you were in Japan.
Yeah, definitely. We had so my friend and I went to Japan, and we were trying to find this restaurant which we'd been recommended by a hotel, and we just went completely the wrong way. And so we went to this woman who was on the street, and we kind of showed her the address. She literally walked us to the door of the restaurant. No one would have done that in London. It's just like people
Wow.
just aren't as kind here. I don't know if it's a case of they're a lot more busy, but it's just people are a lot more like kind of efficient, and they want to get to their place, to
Sure.
get their job done, and that's it.
Busy, busy,
Really.
busy. Head down, get on with your own thing, and the phone. Yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. It's the kind of, I wouldn't say cold, but people are busy. They're in a rush a lot of the time. Tokyo and London, and don't give you the time of day. Whereas in Japan, and especially down south in Kyushu, but in Tokyo as well, people are
Yeah.
generally friendly. If they see you're struggling or you need a hand, they'll openly try to help you out. So that's one thing. But
Yeah.
I guess back to the weeb world. So we were talking about the Caroline Yuri and the binding figures. So I have here. I found
Yes.
this in the local manga Soko. So this is that Shion binding figure where she's kind
Oh,
of,
she's so cute.
yeah,
She's got the little heart cut out
that's
on her
it, that's
bunny
it.
suit. That's really sweet.
She's adorable.
Yeah.
She's really spunky, and I was really, really surprised to find her. And then I can't remember which
Yeah.
YouTuber. I think it was like Gwyn Collects or someone like that. She placed
Yeah.
this one next to another one that was sitting down. So I had to go online and had to research, what is that one sitting down? I really like that. Is that available anywhere?
Yeah.
And her name is Rio, right? And only last week, I found her. I found her on discount on Saluga, yeah. And I was like,
No
can I do
way.
it? Can I? They look so good together. I did it. I pulled the plug, so she's on her way. So Rio from binding is on her way as
Yeah.
well. And yeah, I'm definitely deep in the binding freeing. Excuse me. Bunny hole at the moment. But I did something a little bit taboo. You know that new one that came out, the Kozuki Elina, the blue one, the really cute, pretty blue binding one that's literally just come out.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So I pre-ordered 3 of her because for my little brothers, I thought, it's kind of cute. It's not over the top lewd. It's proportionate. It's very nice. So I had 3 of her
Yeah.
come here. And then, that ridiculously expensive freeing bunny, the Azure Lane, the blue one, is it like New Jersey or something?
Yeah.
The one on the pole that's really over the top, her hair's everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want that. That looks really, really good. But I can't really.
And you say that Mio Blue's expensive. That one's so expensive.
That's so expensive, and it's all in the hair. It's the detail. The hair's everywhere, right? It's like half of the mass of it. And I was like, right, so what do I do here? Conundrum. I'm spending way too much. So I ended up, right, I didn't even open them. I saw some pictures. I was like, I've got to sell these. I've got to order the Azure Lane ones. So I put the Kozuki Alina ones up for sale on Yahoo Auction.
Yeah.
And then I got suspended because apparently you're not allowed to put naughty items or R-rated items on Yahoo Auctions. I'm like, what?
No way.
Other people are doing that. Why aren't they suspended, right? And then it was only for a week, but then I put them on Mercari to try to figure out how that system works. And I sold 2 of them, but the third one it got deleted and I got suspended again.
No, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, so the adult things aren't they're frowned upon on the selling sites. It's really weird because I see so many of these listings, right? So why is my account targeted? Who knows?
Yeah, that's so strange.
Yeah.
Maybe
But,
as a sign though, you should keep one bunny.
yeah,
Sell 2
yeah.
and keep one.
I think so. It could be a divine sign, but just to oh sorry, another reason. I mean, I could have balanced it out and kept all of them, but another reason that I really tried to build some income is because after freeing bunnies and after binding bunnies come statues, and statues are expensive as anything.
Yeah.
My goodness, have you got a statue? Are you tempted by any statues?
I've pre-ordered my first statue, and
Ooh.
it comes out in December, I think, or October. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna. No, maybe it comes out earlier than that. It might be no. I think it's October. It's October, and it's an unlicensed resin of Violet Evergarden.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
Beautiful too.
I'll send you an image of it. It's
Sure.
so beautiful. She had 2 unlicensed resins came out at the same time, and I'd already put my pre-order in for the first one. And then I was like, oh no, but what if, I got a bit of FOMO. I was like, what if I like the second one and the second one came out? And I was like, no, I'm glad I went with the first one. But yeah, I paid the pre-order for her, so I can't, the deposit, so I can't get the deposit back. But I'm just scared of what her shipping's going to cost.
Where did you order it from? Where's it coming from?
I think it's coming from America. So yeah, we'll just have to see what shipping costs are. I do have a worst case scenario. I do have family in America and Canada, so I could always maybe send it to them, get them to keep a hold of it and maybe somehow when I'm there on a family trip, like pick it up or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll just always have to see. It might just be easier to just pay the money for the shipping. So that's my biggest fear, is how much the shipping's going to cost,
Of
especially
course.
because like it's around the Christmas period where I'm like, oh, I should be saving for like buying Christmas presents for like family and stuff. So I'm just a bit like kind of slightly fearful of this, but I'm hoping to keep it at the one. But we always say that, and then our collection expands. So maybe I shouldn't hold myself to that.
Yeah, well, one for now. Always leave yourself a
Yeah.
bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Some of these statues are truly beautiful, and you know that
Yeah.
licensed figures may not kind of reach that scale, that detail, or that pose and whatnot. And there was this one of, as my biggest regret is my Shiranui HMO statue. I found it on Yahoo Auctions, and this thing goes for about 200,000 yen. And the bidding
Yeah.
was only at 50,000 yen because it's slightly damaged. And I don't mind my damaged figures, from a distance
Yeah.
or up close, they look fine. And I thought, if I put a 70,000 yen bid on this, and that thing is worth 200,000 yen, it's a little bit damaged. I'm going to win because that's 20,000 yen above what it was currently at, and it was only like 20 minutes
Yeah.
left. So I went away and
Yeah.
did something, and when I came back, I lost. The guy bid 77,000 yen, and I'm like,
Oh
no way!
no.
He just bid in increments of like 2,000, 2,000, and he went all the way up past my 20,000 increment, and I was like gutted because the only one I can see like in the world available is like 2 grand or 2.5 grand, and that's
God.
crazy. I was like, oh well.
Yeah. I actually lost on a bidding for this week for I can't remember her name. She's like the ice cream girl. She just came out. She's a native figure
Oh
of
yeah,
this
yeah.
little girl in a ice cream, and it's just, oh, she looks
I think I
so
know which one
cute.
you
But
mean. Yeah.
basically, her pre-order was like so long ago that I actually watched her video on like Pocky Trap did a video of unboxing her,
Okay.
and I was like fell in love with her. I was like, I have to have her. So I went on MFC, saw this auction was up, and I was like, oh, and it was at like 25,000 yen. I was like, that's, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll put in a bid for like 35,000. That will be
Sure.
fine. And I think 10 minutes before the bid ended, I'd put in my snipe bid with Bai, and it had been at like 34,500. My snipe bid went in, then it went up to like 62,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Not pounds,
Yen.
62,000 yen, and I was just like, no, I'm out. It's a 1/7 scale. It's just I can't pay this.
Oh,
Just yeah.
Binding 170. Is it the mint ice cream one, or is it a different one?
No, once
There's quite a
it's like
few.
a girl in a cup.
Okay. Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. It's a smaller binding one. Yeah, with the ice cream parfait kind of thing.
Yeah, and yeah, she's so cute, but her aftermarket's gone nuts because her pre-order was like over a year ago, and so it was during COVID, and then obviously a lot of people myself included, came into the hobby during or after COVID, and so they're just massive demand for her and not enough supply. So we'll see if I manage to hunt her down somewhere else, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
on the
not
to
paying
buy list if we
62,000
find it.
for it for 1/7 scale.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's nice, but they're not 62,000 nice. Maybe there's other things, that high priority at 62,000.
Well, that's like more than what Caroline Yuri cost me, and she was like one of my top grails, and she's a 1/4 scale. So yeah, I do think there are certain figures that just go nuts in the aftermarket, and you look at what you can get either for another figure pre-owned or like a figure pre-ordered, and you're like, it just gets to a point where you're like, no, I can't justify it anymore.
Yeah, you've got a threshold for that particular figure quality and how much you desire it, and the desire sensor. It's like it's gone beyond that. For that price, I'm putting it towards something I really really want. So yeah,
You can always tell, like, I can always tell if I know whether it's like a figure I really want or not, because like if you pay for it and feel guilty, then you know something's not right. Like when it's something you really want and you pay for it and you feel like super excited about it to arrive, and you're like, yes, and you just can't wait. You don't care about the money because it's like your dream figure. But there are some figures that you're like, oh, I feel a bit guilty spending this money because I probably should have saved it for a pre-order or something. And then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe take a week, see how you feel in a week's time if you still want to get it. So yeah.
sure. And that's the kind of thing as well. Like that's almost why I really like buying secondhand or unboxed or slightly damaged or whatnot, repairable with glue, a bunny
Yeah.
ear snapped or whatever, because I feel it's a lot more acceptable at a price point for certain figures than the huge outlay for a super A grade or brand new figure. Sometimes, like I gave you a sneak peek, and obviously no one else knows, but that Black Lagoon Levy, the bunny one
Yeah.
with the tights, I
Yeah.
found that for 30,000 or 32,000 yen or something like that, just because one of the ears snapped off. But apart from that, everything else was pristine. It's absolutely
Yeah.
stunning. It's
Yeah.
really nice, and I was like, glue, pop it in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I've had a couple of figures that I bought and they've come broken. But it's always I've been very lucky with my brakes because it's typically been very clean brakes. A little bit of super glue, you can't
Yeah,
tell. And
exactly.
and like for me it's like it's in my collection. It doesn't matter to me. I
Sure.
think if maybe it's damaged and you can slightly see it, it might be worse. But then, if you've paid less for it, then you're like, well, and I don't
Yeah.
think having any kind of damage or defect on the figure should take away from how much that figure means to you sentimentally.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. It does happen, and also like it's the one thing that's guaranteed. You'll either get a figure broken at some point, or you will break a
Yeah.
figure. Like
Oh,
everyone's
I've
done
broken weight. I'm so clumsy. I'm an absolute.
it.
When I'm unboxing these figures, like I have filmed so much content of figures that I haven't released yet. We're talking like a 72 video backlog or something. And the amount of times when I open the blister pack like this, right, and it just drops out of the box, I'm like, should I leave it in or should I edit it out? I'll leave it in. It's good fun. But yeah, especially expensive ones as well. And
Yeah.
the one that was tragic, and it wasn't my fault. We'll call it natural disasters because that's what it is. You know the Yui Takamura Muv Love, the yellow bunny suit with the sword. Have you seen that one?
That one's so beautiful. Yes, I know the one you're talking about.
I got that one, and it was perfect condition. Right, I was so lucky. 29,000 yen, which she does not go for. I found
No.
her, beautiful condition. I put her on the shelf because at the time I had no display units, no, like none of these Japanese shelves or nothing like that. Magnitude 8 earthquake, and she fell off. She fell off, and
Oh,
she was on the top wrong. And
oh
yeah,
no.
and it's just the top strand. Luckily, nothing snapped or broke. Just the top strand of brown hair. There's a slight nick on it, so about a 1 centimeter
Yeah.
little paint nick. But I was just so thankful that nothing like snapped or broke because there's
Yeah.
such a nice figure, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I've got the figure. I'm so happy with it. She's lovely, adorable, a centerpiece. Look at it every day. But yeah, damage will happen inevitably no matter what, and
Yeah.
it's fine really.
Yeah, because how do you earthquake proof your collection? Because like it's just not something we have to think about in the UK. And I already feel like some of my figures are a bit wobbly and I'm always worried about them falling and breaking. Like how do you kind of deal with that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, like these units behind me, right? So obviously the top ones are definitely in danger, but they're quite heavy. Like I would say that thing is around 25 kilos, and then you add the figures on top of that. Even with an earthquake, it's going to take monumental, let's say not horizontal shift, but maybe diagonal shift or something to really edge it off. But I would
Yeah.
like to like tack it to the back or put more valuable figures, I guess, in the shelf itself. But I did give you a little sneak peek, which other people didn't see. My room is a bit of a state at the moment. It's a disaster. I've got figures and goodies everywhere, so it's going to take some time to really. Maybe I should do like a live, an actual live. Please help me organize my collection and where I should put my figures in the right place.
Yeah, Marie Conduit and yeah.
Oh, that
You
name,
could go
yeah,
through
very
all like your
cool.
wall scrolls and stuff and like people could give you recommendations.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but Mary Kondo would have a heart attack or anything if she saw my place. Like even in Cambridge, I was stacking vertically because horizontally I ran out of space as well. And the stuff I collect, like not just figurines, I love my war scrolls, as you said. I love these music boxes. I'm so into music boxes lately, like from gaming and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
They
That's
kind of
really cool. Oh, have you seen the Hatsune Miku anniversary figure that comes out in like January, I think? She
yeah
comes with a music box.
yeah. I pre-ordered that one. I had to
I
get it.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. It's so different. So yeah. But I don't know, like so I'm a bit of a tidy freak when it comes to like layouts and stuff, but like I think there is something cool about maximalism versus minimalism. Like everybody has slightly different ways of putting together their collection. And I think it's really interesting to kind of see what kind of creative solutions people have come up with for like displaying their collection. So
No,
it'd
no,
be nice if
you're
we could
right.
get
You're
some
right.
ideas.
I still haven't had the opportunity to really like organize because I'm only here on a spouse visa at the moment. I don't have the opportunity to buy a house, so I've just got a very small flat as an office, and then the main flat,
Yeah.
which is about 5-10 minutes from here. So all the essentials is everywhere, and then figures in
Yeah.
and around boxes in and around wherever I can stuff
Yeah.
some space, and then two little ones as well, keeping them away from the goodies. Otherwise it'll be havoc, it'll be
Yeah.
chaos. So I've got I call it
Yeah.
organized mountains of chaos.
Yeah. Organized chaos. That's
Yeah,
great.
organized chaos. Living in organized chaos. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
You collect art books as well, right?
I do, yeah. Like, I haven't bought any for a while just because I've been trying to save on and spend it like what I would spend on art books on figures and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I think I really like. I've got like a Madoka Magica art book because what I try and do if there's like collections that I want to collect figures from, but I know I just don't really have the space for them. I'll buy like an art book instead.
Okay.
So I have like some Omayoji art books because I love collecting like Omayoji figures. I have like a Demon Slayer art book that's actually really nice because I actually love Demon Slayer as an anime, but I haven't yet, other than that prize Tanjiro that I haven't actually got any other Demon Slayer figures. I do actually have some pre-ordered, but I'm trying my best to like, because there's just so many good ones. I'm trying my best to like cut back on what I collect. So yeah. But I love them because it's so nice seeing like what different artists come up with. And I was always really, because I studied architecture, and I was always like really passionate about art growing up. And I am just blown away by the skills of some of these like anime illustrators, and like some of the stuff they come up with is just absolutely beautiful. So I really love art books from that because it's just a little bit of joy, isn't it? It's something you can flick through right before bed. Just, you know, if you've got a spare 5-10 minutes, and yeah, I just think it's like a really nice hobby to have.
I completely agree with you, and it's a bit of the flavor and the soul of the artist in their work as well. And I'm buying a lot of art books. I've got some with me at the moment, and I'm just reading through them because I don't know if you've been in a shop called Book Off in Japan. So they have lots and lots of secondhand books.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second, I might have lost you. Ooh, 1 sec. There you go. There we go.
Cool.
Oh, you're back.
Yep, nice one. So yeah, they have lots and lots of secondhand books, and I'm just hoarding a lot of the art books, especially in relation to anime series or movies or even bands or games or that kind of thing. So overnight, I'm just reading bits by bit, making sure that it's kind of relaxing, right, away from the kind of mobile phones and screens and whatnot. You can just enjoy the books. So one of the ones that I've looked at quite recently was this book here by Inomata Mutsumi, illustrations. So it's 2,300 yen, but I think I got it for about 700 yen. And just some of the kind of retro, old style kind of art, like this one from Casca, from like Berserk, and then does like very kind of old school retro style. And then I thought that's what it was all about. And then when I looked at it kind of in detail, there's some crazy stuff in here. Like I have no idea what's going on here. It's like some guy using an ass attack and knee into some woman's ass.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So it's so random, right? And even the cover really kind of was very unique, kind of succubus with a little kind of lolly face. I don't know, but definitely enjoying this stuff. But you know what, right? I've read through this book already. I'll send this your way because let's add this to your collection as a thank you for coming to to my podcast. So I'll send it your way, and then also next time.
Awesome.
For the next episode as well, I do actually have some Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba War Scrolls. I just need to dig them out and find them. So I'll find you something you like, and we'll do another episode, and it'll come your way as well.
That's so cool. Oh, thank you so much. That's really kind of you, Si.
No worries. Anytime. No, thank you for spending the time and talking with me this evening. I know the time difference and technical stuff always gets in the way, but no, I really enjoyed it. It was a good talk. Bit of banter.
Me too. Yeah, it was an absolute delight. Thank you for having me.
Sure, no worries. And everyone, as you know, we are in the weeb community. Clari is also a YouTuber. Her link is in the description below. Please check her out, like and subscribe. And peace. And we'll go from there. Next week, let's do another one. If you enjoyed this podcast as much as we enjoyed filming it, make sure you subscribe for more, and also check out on the right hand side where Austin tells us about the $2,000 Albedo figure and how he funded it.